I'm playing something almost every week, and sometimes I want to talk about it and give you a vertical slice. So stick with me for some lightning reviews. This week on the chopping block. This week I've been playing Blur. If you've been following my various social posts on my channel, you'll see that I've been non-stop immersed in assorted PC building projects, one of which was a Windows XP build. Nearing the end of the building and testing phase, I installed a mess of games onto the system, and one of the heavier titles was one of the most fondly looked on defunct racing games in my library. Released in 2010, Blur is a rather simple premise. Take the Mario Kart style of combat racing with power-ups, shortcuts, and bombastic free-for-all action, and apply that to official, real licensed cars while maintaining an explicitly non-cartoony grounded aesthetic. The result was one of the most underappreciated racing games of its era, in my opinion. Starting the game up again, my chief opening grievances are the sequences of unskippable tutorial cutscenes to explain all the basic game modes, power-ups, and even plot motivations. Yes, there's a story, but it's so weak there might as well not be. Basically, you use the game's economy of lights earned per event to rank up and challenge bosses of individual areas until you claw your way to the top. You take on the bosses for those areas after meeting certain requirements, and they always get characterized with traits, but you're always told instead of shown, and I rarely saw affect anything when it came time to put pedal to the metal beyond a gimmick for the track's power-ups. Lackluster to non-existent story aside, we get to the meat of any racing game worth its salt. The gameplay, mechanics, and feel, and this is where Blur shines and why it resides in my memory. Kart racers are abundant, being an easy formula to slap on any cartoon franchise for a licensed title. However, in the higher performance tiers, I don't see many that give such a visceral sense of speed. Once your car gets moving, you always feel in control, but just barely, and that sense is amplified when you're in the chaos induced by a pack of 19 other racers slinging explosions, force fields, and lightning all around you. Yes, the power-ups that make this far more chaotic and unique than your average arcade racer add a degree of planning and strategy in your deployment of weaponry for both aggressive and defensive measures, which most items can be used both ways for. It's not just mindless shooting of homing rockets to cause misery to the guy immediately in front. Gaining mastery of all facets and utility of each item means there's rarely a scenario you can't plan around, and you get plenty of opportunity to get familiar outside of standard combat racing. Other campaign modes include time trials with pickups for speed and time bonuses, and destruction, which is basically a rolling shooting gallery. Although when you do take out a target for points and added time, they do shoot back, keeping you on your toes. But of course, those serve as little more than a variance to mix up the mood from event to event, and the races are the main attraction. Unfortunately, it's not all sunshine, lasers, and rainbow blasters. One chief grievance comes in the form of hyper-specific goals you need to meet in order to access certain boss levels, setting goals that require a very unique set of circumstances to be met, and if it doesn't happen organically, it may take several attempts on a single track to make it happen, which gets very annoying. Anyone who's played for contracts in Team Fortress 2 will know exactly what I'm talking about. Additionally, anyone who's played Mario Kart enough knows the feeling of getting royally screwed over in rapid succession as you get barraged by several opponents in a supreme display of misfortune and auto-cannibalistic frustration. Finally, there's the unfortunate fact that Blur is basically an extinct title. Xbox 360 and PS3 hard copies are still available to track down, but locked to those systems without any backwards compatibility. So multiplayer isn't easily achievable, and that's if the servers are still live, which I'd bet they are not. PC multiplayer still seems to be live, but again, the easiest way to do this is with a PC hard copy, and I don't see too many people still building their machines with disk drives. I'm forced to admit I'm a minority there. I'm doubtful we'll ever get a re-release or remaster, considering it didn't sell well, being up against other great racers like Split Second and Mod Nation Racers when it did release, but if you can track down a copy, I do think it's worth it. And on a conclusory note, regarding the fact that I was using this game to test my XP machine, while it was able to handle the game quite well up to a point, after beating about a third of the game, it would crash trying to play any individual race. I chalk that up to the weirdness that is my build and the fact that it's a game running on an operating system that was nearing the end of its life. When I can play it though, it handles great. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some XP system benchmarks to perform. Hey, thanks for sticking around all the way to the end. Remember that I give away Steam keys with my regular weekly uploads, and all you have to do to enter is leave a comment and have contact info on your YouTube profile. But as always, thanks for watching and keep your head on your shoulders.